Hello, Year 11. This is just a short video to give you some tips on how to revise for your upcoming exam. Before we go through that stuff, just a bit of information about the exam itself. The course that we are studying is GCSE Business 1 to 9, and the exam board is AQA. So, paper 1 is on influences on operations and HRM on business activity. So, how are you going to be assessed? The things that should come up in the exam are Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, and Unit 4. Now, these are topics that you have covered in Year 10, so it's worth looking back at these in some more detail. The exam is going to be assessed the following ways. It's 1 hour and 45 minutes in length, and it's worth 90 marks and 50% of your overall grade. The exam paper itself is split into 3 sections, Section A, B, and C. Section A will contain multiple choice questions along with short answer questions. In this part of the exam, you do not have to link back to the case study because you will see no case study in Section A. Section B and C, however, will have case studies in there. So in your answers, please do link back to the case study and try to extract as much data as you can from the case study in your answers. Paper 2 is influences of marketing and finance on business activity, and it's assessed again through Unit 1 and Unit 2. So please do make sure you revise them two topics in detail because they appear in both exam papers. But this time you're going to have Unit 5, which is marketing, and Unit 6, which is finance, which you have covered this year. Again, assessed exactly the same as the previous exam. It's 1 hour and 45 minutes long, worth 90 marks of your overall grade and 50% of your GCSE. Again, exactly the same, Section A, B, and C. Section A is worth 20 marks. Again, multiple choice questions and short answer questions. There will be no case study here, so make sure your answers are short and snappy. Section B and C, however, will have a case study, so please do reference any of your answers to the case study and try to get as much data from the case study in your answers. So what kind of questions will you see in the exam paper? The first part of the paper in Section A, the first thing you will see is multiple choice questions, and they are worth 1 mark. So make sure you answer the questions appropriately. Some may ask you to highlight 2 things, so please do choose 2 options. If you're not sure on a question, please don't leave it blank. Have a guess because you may still get a mark for getting it right. You'll also see give, identify, list, or state in the exam. Now, these are worth 1 or 2 marks. So depending on what the question is asking you, just be careful how you answer it. So it might say, ask for 2 points. So clearly state 2 things. You're also going to see 2, 3, 4 mark explain questions. Now, these usually appear in all areas of the exam in Section A, B, and C. If it's in Section A, again, you don't need to make a link to the case study, but if it appears in Section B and C, please do make links to the case study. Now, this time here, you're going to need to justify your answer. So make sure that you are using 2 connectives. For example, this means that, therefore, as a result, in turn, or simple things like because. Again, in the exam, you're going to get calculate questions. If it's worth 2 or 3 marks, you do not need to show the formula or write the formula down. If it's worth 4 or 5 marks, the exam board will expect you to write the formula down and then show you're working out in order for you to get the marks. So please do show you're working out, because if you do get the question wrong, but some of you working out is correct, they may award you 1 or 2 marks. You will also see 6-mark questions in Section B and C. Now, these are normally analyzed questions. Now, clearly have to state 1 point and use 3 to 4 connectives in your argument. Please make sure you stick to the point you have made and answer that in detail. Otherwise, you will not get the level 3 marks here, which is worth 5 to 6 marks. You will also see an advise or recommend question. Normally 2 of these would be in the exam paper. So here you need to make a recommendation or advise someone on a particular topic. So the way to structure this answer would be, give your points for both of the reasons, and then in your conclusion, make a recommendation on which one you have chosen and why you have chosen it. Make sure there's enough detail from the case study to support your answer. You'll also see a 12-mark question, which is the last question in each of the exam papers, and it's going to normally consist of 2 bullet points, and that's the form of your argument. So remember to analyze both of them in detail, linking back key concepts that you have raised in your answer from the case study. Again, you're going to need a detailed conclusion here and links to different functional areas in the business. Without the functional areas, you can only get up to 10 marks. So functional areas are things like human resources, finance, customer service, operations. So make sure you are linking back to them and how they affect them areas in the business. Now, there's a number of ways you can revise for this exam. I've just got a few of these down here, but there are a number of things you can do to get you working or help you with your revision. So there's flashcards, mind maps, knowledge organizers. There's lots and lots of tools online, things like watching videos on YouTube if you wanted to. So the first one I'm going to go through is flashcards. Flashcards is a fantastic way to revise. The key thing here is if it's a keyword or something, a topic you're stuck on, write down the question or the keyword itself, and on the other side, write down what the meaning is, and you can test yourself, or you can get someone at home or at school to test you, and this will help your knowledge retention. There's also the keywords. Like I say in lessons, about 85% or 80% to 85% of the exam is based on your keywords, because if you know what your keyword is in the question itself, then you know how to answer the question. So make sure you do look through the keyword documents, because they will help you immensely in this exam. Mind maps are another great way of revising. So you get a topic and then you chunk it out into different areas, and you just make a diagram and put different parts of what you've learned into a big chart, and then you can revise that way. It's a great way of breaking down subtopics if you wanted to, if that helps you revise. And there's lots and lots of examples online, and there's ones that we've done in lesson as well to look back at. Again, summarizing your notes is very good. A lot of people find that you make a lot of notes, but they don't always make sense. So summarizing your notes to make them a lot less chunkier in a way. As you can see here, business formulas, the student here, as instead of having all the text that goes with it, it's just broken it down into simple text and showing the formulas only, and it helps them with their revision. Don't forget your knowledge organizers. Your knowledge organizers have broken down the topics into a small section. So all the key information that you think you need are in small sections in here. For example, as you can see, motivating employees, that was normally 2 or 3 lessons worth of work, but they've condensed that into a single, a quarter of an A4 sheet of paper. So knowledge organizers are great. So please do read up on them. And they can also be found in Google Classroom. There's a number of websites you can use, which can give you lots of resources and questions. BBC Bite Size is one of them. There's some good videos on there to help you revise, along with some low-stake quizzes that can help you. There's also Tutor2U, lots and lots of resources to help you with exam technique on here. There's lots and lots of videos on key things that we have covered to break it down. So please do visit Tutor2U, because there's lots and lots of resources there to help you in the exam. Again, get revising. As you can see there, there's nearly 1,100 resources, lots of questions that you can go through, or online quizzes that you can take part in to help you with your revision. Then you've got Seneca Learning. Now, Seneca is something I've talked to you guys about a lot. Seneca is a great tool to help you revise certain topics. So if you were revising for the first exam, and you wanted to focus on operations or production, which is Unit 3, you can find that and you can sign up and then just answer all the questions on that topic. And what it will do is it will remember key things that you remember and that you're good at, and test you on things that you're not so good at until you do get it right. So Seneca is a very, very good tool to help you revise. There's also past papers that you can access. I've given you some papers in lesson, but if you wanted to do any more, you can find them on the AQA website by just typing in GCSE exam papers and typing in our course, and you should be able to find them quite easily. Now, you've got the Perfecting the Exam Technique document. I've given you that on paper, but it's also on Google Classroom. Now, this shows you how to answer the questions in the exam. It's a very, very good booklet to structure your answers. So please do read that, because it will guide you through how to structure your answers in each question. You've also got the formula list. Now, around 10 to 15 marks of your exam paper are based on calculations. So please do look at the formula list, because there are lots of marks to be gained here. Knowing your formulas is going to be key. Now, there are about 20 formulas that you've got to remember, and they could come up in paper 1 or paper 2. So please do visit this. You've got a paper copy of this. And again, this is available on Google Classroom if you needed it. And finally, Google Classroom. All the resources that we have used in business studies are available on here. So please do use this for your revision. There's lots of keyword quizzes on there, or your keywords on there, all the PowerPoints that we've been taught from, again, with your exam technique and your formulas. So please do use Google Classroom if you are stuck or struggling. And if you need anything else, please do get in touch with me. I'm in A13. I'm there at break times and lunch times. And if you need me, I'll be there after school. Thank you for listening, guys.